What is up, Chiefs Kingdom? Welcome into Outside the Trenches presented by Jack Stack Barbecue. As you can tell by my voice, I am not our fearless leader, BJ Kissel. My name is Tucker Franklin. I am here with you today. It's just me and Super Bowl champion, Nick Leckey. Nick, how are you doing this fine week? It's been a minute since we've talked. We were going to do Outside the Trenches with you on the road. It just didn't work out. The Super 8 Wi-Fi, shocker, didn't work very well.
Weird.
And that's so odd. But how have you been, Nick?
I've been good. I think all of us needed time to heal after that Chiefs just collapse, and I think it was appropriate that we weren't able to do one when you and BJ were having your road trip to Las Vegas, and so it was kind of nice to heal up and think about things and let the dust settle, and kind of figure out how we're going to watch the Super Bowl and hand out some some awards, I guess.
Yeah, Nick, as you mentioned, we've got a good show planned. I think just kind of a nice little capper on the season, end of the year awards. As we were trying to think about what we were doing for this podcast, the end of the year awards were happening for the NFL. I think they call them the NFL honors now, but they were happening. I was like, let's do that. Let's talk about who was really good for the Chiefs in this regular season, and we'll talk about the Super Bowl a little bit. I know people might not want to hear about the Super Bowl, right? The Chiefs are pretty much were supposed to be in it, and they're not, and I know that stinks. But we'll talk about the Super Bowl, some of the storylines surrounding it. But before we get to that, we got to thank our friends at Jack Stack Barbecue for everything they do for us, and they have a sale going on. It's their annual a la carte sale. It's here. Get up to 40% off all of your a la carte favorites, plus enjoy free ground shipping on shipped orders of $115 plus. So anything over $115, pretty easy to spend at Jack Stack, in my opinion. That's a quick bill. You are going to get free ground shipping. Use promo code STOCKUP22 for the sale prices and free shipping. You got to order it by March 6th, though. So you're kind of running out of time. Make sure you get up there. You can save up to 40% off of all your a la carte favorites, Nick. And man, I love to go there and just order a la carte stuff, honestly.
It's what I do. Yeah, I like to build my own combo platter because I'm not pleased with the options that I have. I know if I was doing this one too, I was looking on it, I was playing around with it. I would get like the 4 1-pound packs of the beef burn ends, and then I get the wings. I get the 6 1-pound packs, and like we talked about, right? These wings are good cold. I bet you I could eat these suckers like you ship them to me, and they're probably frozen, so I got to thaw them out a little bit. But I eat them in the fridge, standing up with the doors open. And it's the best way to eat Jack Stack wings. Just, oh my, they're so good.
I love to take those things home. I like to get the taste of Kansas City, right? Me and my girlfriend will split a taste of Kansas City when we go. And then I'll obviously get some burn-ins on the side, some of the a la carte stuff that, doesn't really come with it. Because I like to get the whole taste of Kansas City, right? It's a good name. It's a good name for it.
A really good name. It's a really good name.
It is. So in that case, sometimes we'll bring home some of the wings. I'll eat those suckers cold. As you mentioned, man, you do a disservice if you throw them in the microwave. You just got to eat those things cold. You can still get the smokiness.
You could.
It's good. It's good. Make sure if you're not in Kansas City, go take advantage of this. Stock up 22, order by March 6th for saving up to 40%. Save up to 40%. That's a lot for this a la carte sale. So, Nick, let's go ahead and get into it. We're going to be giving away only 4 awards. When I was going through like some of these awards, some of them don't really apply to the Chiefs, right? That they do, nationally, I guess you could say. So we're just going to go offensive player of the year, defensive player of the year, rookie of the year, and most improved player. I think those are 4 easy awards, that we can hand out that are going to be suitable for what this team did. So you want to start us off, Nick, with your offensive player of the year?
Are we going to go for the big dog right off the get-go, or you want to go least to first?
You know what? Yeah, let's go most improved player first. Okay. Let's do that. Yeah.
This is going to be a weird one because I'm going to do it. I'm not going to say from last year to this year. I like to do it like within the framework of a season, and I know you might be different. But to me, most improved player from beginning of the season to how they finished November, December would have to be our guy, Patrick Mahomes. He was really putting a lot of stress on the offensive line. He was trying to, clip on every play, as they say in the Rocket League series. He's clipping. He's trying to put up them highlights. He's stunting, as they say. And he was setting back. He wasn't comfortable in the pocket. And then all of a sudden you see this like midseason transformation where all of a sudden he becomes comfortable in the pocket, almost Aaron Rodgers-esque in that pocket with the presence and trusting his whole line. And then even able to scramble some. So most improved player for me within this season, Patrick Mahomes?
I really like that answer because Patrick Mahomes can probably be used for a lot of other things, MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, but he did really improve this year. And I think that was kind of a big talking point this year is like, okay, what's going on with Mahomes during that, losing stretch? People are like, Mahomes, what's up with him? And then when they went on that little tear, nobody was talking about Patrick Mahomes because he figured it out. So what I have is most improved player. When I like to think about that, it's like, I think from last year to the year before,
Mhm.
right? So that's kind of how I was thinking of this. And I got Willie Gay Jr. And I think he really improved on the defensive side of the ball. Really was able to put out some really valuable reps and was really valuable for this team. If you think about their first 4 weeks they were without Willie Gay. He comes back. I'm not saying he was the cure, but he definitely helped fix that defense, helped right the ship. Melvin Ingram also in there as one of these guys that could be for another position. Don't want to get too far into that one, but I think Willie Gay really improved from this year to last year. Man, it was night and day. He was getting some really valuable reps in there.
It was awesome too. And then I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't there a stretch where like Bolton, Hitchens, Willie Gay, they were all kind of out during the season, right? So they
Yeah.
all had to kind of fill in each other's roles. And I
Mm-hmm.
thought that was cool for a long-term standpoint to kind of play the different position, play different linebacker spot, make the calls, and then see it from a different angle. And I think that improved their skills. And that's why that trio did so well in the stretch, right?
Yeah.
Because they were able to see, the field through each other's eyes position. And then it was like they just clicked after that. It was really cool. And you're right, Willie Gay is that run stopper too up there in the defensive second line.
Oh yeah, him coming downhill is a scary sight to
Whew.
see. 48 tackles this year, one only for loss, one quarterback hit. Surprised to only see he had one tackle for loss because that
Man.
dude was flying around. So let's go with. Do you want to do Rookie of the Year next? Let's do that one, Nick. Who do you
Yeah.
have as the Rookie of the Year?
Do you want to go first on this one?
No, I want you to go first.
So listen, I'm it's a not really a toss up, but I'm gonna go not Trey Smith, just because I think Trey Smith, for as dominant as he was in the run, I think there were some times, some clips where he struggled a little bit in pass pro
Mm-hmm.
versus some of the moves, some of the bull rushes, and that stuff he'll get cleaned up. And like I said, him struggling a bit is not getting blown up. Him struggling a bit is getting beat at the edge, getting beat late, kind of stuff. So it ain't like he's getting dominated at all. He just kind of struggled a little bit. I noticed some stuff where I'm like, oh wow, he could work on some pass pro stuff. And if you look at the move over one space to his left, and I know I'm a center, former center, so this is what I was watching. But Creed Humphrey is my 100% Rookie of the Year, man. The guy just was consistent all year from week 1 to week 18, and just never missed a snap, never took a play off. Was solid in pass pro, solid in run blocking. Solid down the field. I wouldn't say brought the energy because he didn't bring the energy, but just brought the consistency. And once
Yeah.
Mahomes realized, hey man, I can step up in his pocket, Creed was right there. And then credit goes to, Tooney to his left and then Trey Smith to his right, because those guys played well together once they started clicking.
Yeah, and I think Creed, the name of the game in the NFL is consistency, and Joe Tooney is making money on consistency.
Mm-hmm.
Creed Humphrey will do the same thing. That dude is incredibly consistent, and he's consistently very good. And I really love Creed Humphrey. I know there's been a conversation about would you trade Creed Humphrey for T. Higgins? I know that's kind of out there right now, and we don't need to dive into that, Nick. We'll save that for another podcast. But I think that what Creed adds to this team is pretty valuable. But I'm going to go with another rookie who I was pretty hard on. I'll admit it, probably because he was one of my own, right? Nick Bolton ended up stepping up playing really good ball. I do think that once he was put in the right position and he wasn't having to fill the roles of what Willie Gay probably did in the season, right? So early on and through those first 4 weeks without Willie Gay, he was having to kind of play out of position. And once he did get put in the role to really accentuate his skill set, think that really benefited Nick Bolton. 112 tackles, 70 solo, 11 tackles for loss. Listen, I know tackles aren't the only stat, right? It's not the most important. I know a lot of people like to build arguments on tackles, and I'm not huge on that, but I don't think that's nothing. I don't think a rookie coming in there leading the team in tackles is not nothing. I think that he really came in and he played well, especially we know in the Steve Spagnuolo system, he's not a big fan of rookies. And so having a rookie come in there and kind of lead the defense from that Mike position was big. And I know that I was hard on Nick Bolton, and I fully admit that, you know what? He got put in the right position, and he wasn't probably in the right position when I was being hard on him. So I know that kind of, and I know I'm backtracking on my takes on Nick Bolton because I was hard on him from the beginning. He's a Mizzou guy. I want the Mizzou guy to look good, right? And so that's probably why I was a little bit harder on him, showing him a little bit of tough love. But man, I couldn't really be happier with the way that Nick Bolton played this season.
You gave him that coach's son perspective, right?
Yep,
You're
yep, that's it.
extra hard on your kid when you're coaching the team, right? That's what he is. He
That's
feels
it.
like your son, right? He feels like your kid because you love him so much, right? As
Mhm.
the Mizzou guy and everything like that. So that makes a lot of sense. It does. I like that. And another thing too. I think that's the same thing with my Willie Gay comment too. Goes the same with Bolton. For him to
Mhm.
be out, miss some games, and to come back in when everyone else when Hitch or Willie Gay were hurt, that helped out a lot. That kind of what's it called? Like when you do like a job shadow, or like when you do like when you're at a corporation, you do different jobs in a corporation.
Yeah, I
That's
don't know
what
the
they
word.
job share. I don't know what the hell the term is,
Yeah,
but that's what he did, right? Like when the
right.
CEO does like of the hotel does like the laundry,
Yeah,
So it's like you just different jobs. So you see the game through a different perspective.
yeah. So had to give a nice little hat tip there to Nick Bolton. I think he played really well as a rookie this year. Defensive Player of the Year, Nick. Who
No
you got?
question. I mean, let's be honest. They traded for him, right? Are
Yep.
we in agreement here?
Yeah.
This defense was incomplete without Ingram. What Ingram is it? Melvin Ingram, right?
Melly. Yep. Melvin
Okay,
Ingram.
so
Hmm.
I'm like Melvin Gordon, Mark Ingram, Melvin Ingram. Like I'm always like, what M person is this, right? Exactly. So yeah,
Yep.
so Melvin Ingram, man, just freaked me out first time
Mm.
I saw him play, and just I remember he blew up somebody. I forgot what he blew up like a counter play, and
Yep.
I had the 24, right? 24.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
what the is this a fat say who this what corner? Or it's a thick corner. I was like so tripped out. I forgot. I think I'd been drinking that day. And it was like I just forgot that he was,
Yep.
and I'm like, he just blew it. And I'm like, who is this corner? I was like, it's just so weird. It looks like the number is like extra small. We're like, oh, we don't
Yeah.
do these number combo sets in big boy. Right. We're used to small kid. Yeah, exactly. But yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I mean, this defense was night and day difference with him and without him.
You can definitely tell a turning point of the season when Melvin Gordon was added to this roster, and I think that that's kind of the general sentiment for everybody is that Melvin Gordon, for a sixth-round pick, highway robbery.
Oh my
And if
god.
if they would have won the Super Bowl, and how embarrassing would it have been to be a Steelers fan to say, "Oh, we gave up this dude," which essentially propelled them to a Super Bowl. Really jump started their season once they got Melvin Ingram, and Melvin Ingram ended the Steelers season.
Yeah.
So it's like one of those things where like that was like, man, that's tough. And he played 9 games for the Chiefs, had 15 tackles, 7 of them solo, 2 for loss, 5 QB hits, and got a sack and a forced fumble. So that's pretty good season for
So
only 9 games.
half season. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty good half season there. A lot of
Yeah.
guys would be stoked with that for a full season. And he played really well. I think no question. I mean, other guys you could think about. Chris Jones did have a good year, especially once he moved back inside. And I
Mhm.
think the Melvin Ingram kind of added to that.
Yeah.
That's again Melvin
Exactly.
Ingram coming in and doing the job there. Tyrann Mathieu didn't fill up the stat sheet a whole lot, but I think his presence was really felt because he's
Mhm.
he's not thrown at. That's the thing that's really hard to gauge how good
I know,
corners
right?
are. Is like, oh, you can say he was 4 for 4 in pass deflections. Yeah, but he's thrown that 4 times. Tyrann Mathieu
Mhm.
wasn't thrown that once. So it's like one of those things where it's really hard to determine how good safeties are. I know that's something PFF only grades on balls thrown at like corners or safeties. So it makes it really hard for guys like Tyrann Mathieu and Patrick Peterson, guys who are pretty locked down, who don't get thrown at all that much to get good grades. So PFF grades probably for a whole nother podcast
Oh,
too.
wow. Yeah,
Uh,
it is. You're just
but I
hitting
think
all the controversial subjects, right?
I am, man. I'm BJ's not gonna want to let me host this show again.
Exactly.
He's gonna rub me off. But no, I think that Melvin Ingram is without a question the defensive player of the year. All right, Nick, the big boy offensive player of the year. What do you think?
I think this is going to blow a lot of people's minds when I say that a kid from the state of Oklahoma is our offensive player of the year, and I'm going to go for the double whammy Creed Humphrey offensive player of the year. I know that's sacrilegious, but listen, if you look at consistency of play from week 1 to week 18, who had the best performance every game of every game this season, and that was Creed Humphrey. He was Mr. Consistent. He's to the highest graded PFF player in center, right? Highest graded PFF player as a rookie, day one starter rookie, and left-handed, no gloves, and just played well. Like, you could make a case for, like, you could say, why didn't you pick Travis? Well, Travis had the fumbling issues, early to mid-season, right? A lot of fumbling issues that cost them a couple, didn't cost them the games, but turned the ball over, which is uncharacteristic of Travis. And then Tyreek got clamped a couple games, right? Kind of did not show up on the stat sheet. So, and that's with receivers, right? Receivers don't get that sort of love. They're streaky, right? Where they go big, whatever. You look at the total, it looks good, whatever. And then with Mahomes first couple games, rough, very, very rough. Did not look his best, trying to do too much. And if we're given if it was the award for November, December, it goes to Mahomes, no question. No, but they just looked out of sync. Mahomes did not look like Mahomes early on. So if I'm talking a total season, look at the season, not the flipping Heisman where they just do the last 2 games, right? And then say, oh, you got it there, right? Whatever. Forget what happened early in the season. No, the whole season, Creed Humphrey.
I like it. You did say guy from Oklahoma, and I almost thought you were going to go with Orlando Brown because he went to Oklahoma too. I was like, oh, well, I listened. Had a good year.
He did. Well, that's the thing. And Patrick put him in a bad spot too by dropping 10 yards. And people were like, what's up with Orlando Brown? He sucks. And I'm like, well, if I did this to a couple friends. They're like, dude, what's up with him? He sucks. I go, stop it. And dude locked up Myles Garrett when, Myles Garrett tried to bull rush. That's impossible. But I would do like a thing. I'm like, all right, I'm going to stand here as a tackle. You're going to stand over there as a defensive end. And then here I'm going to point to a spot 10 yards behind me. Get to that spot, And it's like, Mahomes was not putting him in a good spot.
No, he wasn't. And I'm not actually going to go with Patrick Mahomes as my offensive player of the year either.
Oh,
I'm going to go with Travis Kelce. I think that you did bring up a good point about his fumbles early on in the season, and some of them did end up, I think, in the ball. No, it wasn't Baltimore. One of those games. It was Chargers game, I believe. He had a fumble. That did kind of end up, he kind of hurting the Chiefs a little bit, but dude finally got a touchdown pass. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, right. It's nice.
But I think that when it comes down to it, Travis Kelce was the most consistent receiver that the Kansas City Chiefs had on their team. And I think when it was third down, you were looking for Travis Kelce. And I think that, I know we said we weren't going to take the playoffs into consideration, but one thing that really sticks out to me is, during that whole playoff game against the Bills, he's like, hey, if they run that coverage again, I'm going to run up the seam. You're going to give me the ball. This is going to happen. And I think that happens in more than just the playoffs, right? I think that just happened to be captured then. I think that just gives you a glimpse into the relationship that those two guys have and the trust that they have in each other as well. And I think Travis Kelce is incredibly valuable to this offense, maybe more so than we think right now, just because of how he's been able to gel with Mahomes and break all these records with a phenomenal quarterback and get into spots where he can make these plays and can make Patrick Mahomes be special like that. So I think that it's one of those things where obviously, Patrick Mahomes is the most valuable player on this team. That's without a question.
Yes,
but I think the best offensive player this year Travis Kelce was incredibly reliable. I don't want to say incredibly consistent. He was consistent after probably week 4.
Mhm.
But I think that, with him getting up there in age, man, what he's doing at the age he's doing it, I think is also impressive, and that's why he's my offensive player of the year.
And I think too, I tried to eliminate all that, and I did. I factored in everything like that, and
Yeah.
and I agree with you too. And I've said it before, is that Mahomes does not feel comfortable at all in any game until he makes his pass and catch to Travis. Like,
Yep.
and now it's like I always like until he got that throw to Travis, even if they had a touchdown or two, I didn't feel comfortable. And then I knew
Mhm.
that, Patrick probably didn't feel comfortable either. Then once they made the connection and it was like, all right, okay, we're good. Now we can rock and roll. Now we can run our thing. So it's like he is Patrick's security blanket
Yeah.
and mine too. I feel that. I feel that. And you're right too. That play,
Yes.
I saw the mic'd up of the play. It was
Mhm.
like, Travis, do it. Like that, and ran the Nike swoosh route. Yeah, so cool. Yeah.
It's incredible. It's incredible
Mhm.
what they can do. Travis Kelce this year, just over 1,100 yards, 1,125 yards.
Stupid.
That's 9 touchdowns. He's getting 12.2 yards per reception.
That's dumb.
And the dude is, let me check his age here real quick. I don't want to mess up. I know he's in his 30s. So I got to hit more bio information. 32. He's going to be
Jesus.
33 next year. October 5th is his birthday. I'll give out his social security card number later in the podcast if you listen. But he'll be 33 coming up next year. I believe he's got one more year on his deal here, if I can see that. But it's something like that. But man, you never know how good you have it until it's gone.
Yes.
I'm here for appreciating Travis Kelce in the
Mhm.
moment and for what he's been doing. So those are our postseason awards. Any honorable mentions you'd like to give out, Nick?
Is it Charvarius Ward?
Yeah, yeah,
I'd say he definitely was considered defensive player of the year. Same thing to me with Matthew. I don't think Matthew. I think we saw in the Cincinnati game how much of a quarterback he is for that defense, as far as getting them right, getting them in check, telling them where to go, kind of like a center does. Hey, you're here, you're on this route, you're on that route, and kind of does it like that. And then offensively, I'd like to say, running backs, but there's no consistency. I loved at times, Williams and Clyde Edwards-Helaire, but they just couldn't. I don't feel like they were utilized enough in the offense to really shine. And don't get me
right.
started with the first and goal from the 1 in the first half of the Cincinnati game. Let's just not go there. Okay, there's not enough bourbon in my house right now to handle that.
I just
And you
moved
don't
and I
run
don't
it
have any.
once.
Right. Yeah. I just moved. I don't have any alcohol in my house, so there's not enough. So
Literally,
yeah,
there's
there's
none.
literally not enough. So before people tweet at me and say that for saying that Travis Kelce only has 2 years left on this deal, he's good through 2025.
Nice.
So
Good,
if he
good job.
plays through his age 36 season, oof, that's getting up there.
But
How old's
his
Gronk?
game, um,
That's true.
his game is
I'll look that
not
up.
quite his game. Travis's game is not beat you with speed. He's got
That's true.
that weird speed where when he ran that was it the Chargers game where he did that like the 25-yard scramble or that
Yeah.
I was like, what was it? He's got like I didn't know he's that fast. Like what is he? This is an optical illusion. How are they not
Uh-huh.
catching up? He's like really fast. He's
Yeah.
sneaky fast. So
So
yeah.
Gronk is also 32, which surprised me when I saw that at first. Let's see, he's 32 and 272 days. So he was born on May 14th. You'll also get his social security card later in the podcast as well. So he's just a little bit older. He's going to turn
When did he get
33.
drafted?
He was,
Because he was out of U of A.
yes, and in the second
Wildcat.
round, 42nd overall of the 2010 draft.
And when
Um,
was Kelsey drafted?
No, Kelsey was the same draft, I believe, or no, 2013. That's right, because that was the same draft as Eric Fisher, and that's when the Chiefs had the number 1 pick. It was the 2013 draft, which
Wow. So
that draft was
wait.
weak.
Gronk had has 3 more years in the league than Travis.
Yeah, he
Or
does.
10, 11, 12. Yeah, three more.
He
That's
does.
crazy.
He's
And they're
got
the same age. And they're the same age.
and they're the same age. Yeah, Gronk seems a whole lot older, probably because of the fact that he has more years in the league. Um,
Yes, it's always what it is, man. I mean, honestly, age is not an age. It's not your actual age. It's your NFL age.
right.
Because I mean, you could be, I mean, same age, but you get more pounding, then yeah, your body's going to be beat up.
Yeah, and Travis and Gronk play two different games.
Mhm.
And you mentioned that already, man. I think that he could play till 36. Wouldn't be shocked. I mean, he's under contract until he's 36. We'll see how that plays out. But let's appreciate Travis Kelsey.
Correct.
I think Tarvarius Ward was a good shout out there. I think he played really well this season. Really, I think he earned himself a paycheck,
Mhm.
which is
Oh yeah,
really what you got to do as a guy who's been on a lot of 1 year deals.
bag
Um,
secured.
yeah, that whole offensive line, man. I mean, Joe Tooney, the most underrated offensive lineman probably in the NFL.
Yeah,
I'll say that. I think that it's probably not close. The dude stepped in and played left tackle against the Bengals in the regular season,
that was
and nobody
amazing.
noticed.
I
And that
did.
was
Right away.
the offensive line
That's
guys.
our Orlando Brown.
They look a little different, to be
It's like,
fair. They don't
what's
look
going
the
on?
same.
What's going on here? Exactly. What did you do with Orlando? I mean, he made a couple
Yeah.
snaps and yes, slid over. But no, you're right. And I think too, you're right. The entire offensive line, for stepping up, and then for Veach, for reconstructing an entire offensive line from nothing. Saying, hey, we need to
Yeah.
fix this issue. And but then also you got to throw some not positive vibes towards the coaching staff for not fine tuning the game
Hmm.
to say, look, here's what we have, man. We don't need Patrick. And I hope what they do next year is say, we don't need Patrick to win games for us. Like, let's save those plays. Let's get some run game concepts, you
Yeah.
know, at
Yeah.
this, what we have. And it's underutilized.
Jarek had a good year too. Kind of towards the end of the year, he really turned it on
Hmm.
when he didn't really get a whole lot of opportunities, but when he did, he played well. And I
Hmm.
think that's really what he needed to do. I think he earned himself another paycheck as well, whether it's in Kansas City or elsewhere. But Nick, let's move on. Let's talk a little bit about this Super Bowl. I know people don't really want to talk about it, but I think we should kind of uh, talk about it. And what I think is really interesting on social media, kind of the tone around this whole Super Bowl is it's going to be a boring Super Bowl. That it's not very exciting. People aren't excited for the Super Bowl. Maybe, probably because the Chiefs they're supposed to be in it and they're not in it. And I think rightfully
A
so.
lot
I
of
know,
people are not in it.
right? A lot of teams are not in the Super Bowl. 30 of them actually are not in the Super Bowl. So what are your thoughts on that? What do you think about this Super Bowl overall?
It's weird that you say that because people are always like, no one wants to see, New England, Tampa,
Yeah.
any Tom Brady led team in a Super Bowl. And then when they're not in it, or if Aaron Rodgers isn't in it, then they're like, what's the deal? What's going on here? This is some bootleg Super Bowl, right? Where we don't
Right.
want these, a team with a bunch of, has been superstars and his team with a bunch of new blood superstars from Ohio. We want the Chiefs, or we want Buffalo. We want these teams who have um, sort of earned the right to be there. So like
Mhm.
people don't like these dark horse teams that are like, whoa, do you have a wristband? I don't
Yeah.
remember you. How did you get in here?
Who do you know?
Yeah, this is the VIP era. What are you doing? Like, you're not supposed to, right? Like, what do you like? Both these teams are like that, right? There's like, okay, they traded for Von Miller, they traded for Odell, and you're like, okay, they're gonna F up that chemistry. And man, Super Bowl's a fickle thing, man. Man, you
Yeah.
luck out, man. You luck out, and Staffy versus Tampa almost blew it, right? So yeah,
Mhm.
it's a weird thing.
So that's one of the things that I like to think about too, and I mentioned a lot. The Chiefs during their Super Bowl run had a tremendous luck.
Mhm.
If you think about it, they came back in all three of the games, all three of the games, and that's lucky. You
Yeah,
can be
it is.
good at football and also have luck, and I think that is like probably 90% of it, right? 90% of it's luck, the other half is skill.
Mhm.
So when you think about it, kind of a Yogi Berraism right there. But I'm excited for it, honestly, and I know that's kind of sounds a little sacrilegious coming from a guy who follows the Chiefs, who likes the Chiefs. Listen, I don't hate Joe Burrow. I'm going to say that right now. I know a lot of people hate Joe Burrow because of that game. Joe Sicey's got some swag, and I liked watching Joe Burrow in the when he was with LSU in that historic offense, and man, I kind of like it. I mean, I'm with it. I'm with the Super Bowl matchup. I think the Rams are a fun team. Two very contrasting styles of roster building going at it to see. Look, listen, there's more than one way to skin a cat, and like
Yeah.
it's gonna show you that like you can build a roster through the draft here by getting your quarterback in round one, getting the number one pick. This is how you do it. Trade away all your first round picks and get guys that are proven, and you could still make it to the
Yeah.
Super Bowl. I think that this is what this has proven is that there's no one right way to do it, and I think that that's kind of an exciting point of the Super Bowl. And listen, this might be the last taste of good football we have for a while. I know the USFL is coming, but I said good football for a reason. Um,
High
so,
quality
high
football.
quality
Yeah.
football, and I don't know that a lot of Chiefs fans aren't going to watch it. I get it, man. That's your choice. You can watch the Super Bowl if you want, but I'm going to be watching it. I think it's going to be a fun game. I think it's going to be a good game. So Nick, why don't we dive into Blind Nil? We don't have BJ here to kind of dampen the mood over Blind Nil in the name of it, so we can fully embrace the blind nilness of it. So what do you got for me today?
All right. By the way, before this podcast, we always chat. Tucker tried to ask me what my blind nil was, and I was like, "Bro, come on, you ain't Harambe, right? I'm doing this for
Fair.
Harambe, just like the Bengals, right? But they're gonna win because they dedicated to Harambe. Best dip and snack combo, like best best dip, best like whatever. Like it could be chip and dip, it could be like wing and blue cheese, it could be blah blah. I'm talking best two flavors you combine for like a Super Bowl that you're like, I need this, or like, yes, this is my jam.
Mm. I actually recently just found this out. I went to Costco the other day, and I found this Mexican street corn dip.
Oh,
Let me tell you, good
elote.
hot, yeah, good hot or cold. It's a very good dip. I'm really into it right now, and I think that it's really a good dip. Here's the thing: a good dip carries whatever chip it's on. It can be a potato chip, it can be a Frito, it could be a tortilla chip. I like the dip to be able to carry the vessel.
Really?
Celery, it probably tastes good on celery. Yeah, so that's just my opinion on
Is your
dips,
opinion?
and I do like a lot of dips. What was the main crux of your question? I got lost in the dips.
It was just the best two combos of
Oh,
like dip and chip or something like that, or like
oh
something
yes.
and something. So the best combo of
Mm.
that. Like if you could say, I need this and I need this, and put them together like Harry Potter style, like
Yeah.
and you can go
You,
Expelliarmus.
you know what I really like, and it might be kind of just like nostalgic for me, just because my
Mm-hmm.
buddies and I used to do this all the time in college. Is we used to live across the street from a Casey's. So we would get Casey's pizza and just like a 30 rack of beer, man. And I'm a simple man.
Awesome.
We just we just sit the 30 rack down, pop the flaps open, and I'll just reach
Uh-huh.
in and grab them. Just pizza and beer, man. That's I remember like a cup, like probably 3 or 4 Super Bowls we did that. Just sitting there, just drinking beer and eating pizza.
I like
Is
that.
Yeah, I think that's
Best
what I put together.
combo. Best
Yeah.
combo. Okay, I like the best Super Bowl combo. Okay, so you flip the question on its head, and I like that. Put it on a Super
Yeah.
Bowl thing. So I never drank beer in college. I was always bourbon or vodka. So do you put the 30 pack in the fridge, or you just leave it in there, and just grab it out because you drink it so quick? How does that work?
Well,
I'm
the
dead
veteran
serious
move
question.
is yeah, the veteran move is to like you would buy it at the same Casey's, right? So like you pick
Right.
up the pizza and then buy it there, and it's in like the beer cooler, like the beer
Okay.
chiller, and you just like leave it out because everybody's gonna go after it.
Okay.
You don't need to put it back in the fridge, or we'd have a cooler and we put it in a cooler with on ice because that's
Okay.
always good. But we usually would just like leave it out because it didn't last very long.
I like that. And that's a
Yeah.
solid Super Bowl. I'm gonna have to go. So I'm gonna have to go with like the best like chip and dip, or the best two combos.
Hmm.
Second is a wing with blue cheese.
Yep, I
Buffalo
thought
wings,
about
blue
that.
cheese. That's
Mhm.
like I'm like that's my go-to. But I'm gonna since I did this whole sort of utility player, sort of player of the year, like longevity forever be my bay is, and I'm different than you. I think the dip has got to be prime, and I think the vessel has to be legit because like a
Mm,
thin chip, you can miss me with a thin chip, right? Like I
yeah,
thin
that's
chip,
fair.
I break. So I'm going old school, non-organic. Probably has a lot of chemicals. Actually, probably doesn't. Fritos, the big scoop
Yep.
Frito, and the Frito gas station, put in your bunker, last for expiration date for 200 years, the bean dip.
Yes. Yes.
That's
Oh,
the I see that at a Super Bowl party. I'm like, this place is here, and there's probably a 30 pack out back. That's been
yeah.
crushed. If you see
Yeah.
that combo, right? You're like, okay, we're here to party.
I used to do this a lot in college as well. I'd do Doritos and bean dip. So I'd get the little dude,
That's
game changer.
I think I've
Yes.
done that.
Uh, gas station bag of Doritos, gas station little can of bean dip that
Seven
you can get
seven
for
dollar bean dip. That's like right. You got to get at the store to get that deal. You got to get at the store, at the grocery store. You go to the gas station, you're getting that like little half a tuna can where you're just like two chip done. Yeah, and you're cutting your knuckles because you're scraping the sides.
and I'm a dip when it comes to my chips. I scoop. I don't
Mhm.
dip. I don't dip them in there. Sometimes I get in trouble. Well, listen, it's probably a different rule when you're sharing dips with people, right? When you probably shouldn't scoop. Man, if there's especially like some substance, like if there's some meat in there, I'm gonna scoop.
Yeah,
There's some ground beef and like a queso, I'm scooping.
I
Chorizo,
need
I'm
a big
scooping.
scoop. I need a
Yeah,
big scoop. I might as well just get a damn spoon and just put it on a chip, and then because I want to break the chip. But you're right, it's not a dip.
yeah, yeah. No, I'm with you. I love me some Doritos and bean dip. That's kind of my go-to jam. So,
That's
uh,
awesome.
let's wrap it up here with my question, Nick. The off season is kind of upon us. We find ourselves kind of trying to figure out what to do. It's like, okay, season's over. What do we do now? So, what is your favorite thing to do during the NFL offseason?
Um, watch Chelsea in the English Premier League. That's when I
Mm.
pick up. The English Premier League ends in about Mayish, and the
Yep.
Champions League ends around May, June. And I just love to watch the Premier League. I watch a lot of football. I watch Chiefs. I watch K State, and I'm like sportsed out at this point, especially with the Chiefs making all these runs. So I
Mm-hmm.
like to turn on Saturdays and Sunday mornings, 6 a.m., 8 a.m., maybe 10:30, and watch Chelsea play in the English Premier League, play in Champions League. And so that's my favorite thing in this offseason.
I'm a big soccer fan because it's one of those sports that I feel like I can watch without analyzing, right? So it's like one of
Mhm.
those, so I can feel like I'm actually a fan.
Yes.
I've lost that with like football, and maybe it'll come back with baseball because I wrote for Sports Illustrated and did the Sports Illustrated Royal site for a little bit, so then I kind of lost it there. Maybe it'll come back for baseball if baseball even comes back. We will see if baseball even
Oh, I forgot. I
even
forgot. I forgot they were locked out. That's how little I care about baseball.
Rob Manfred said that he's got a good faith proposal, and it's probably going to be not good because he's the worst commissioner in all of sports. But
Was that you who tweeted that? He said something about governmental issues
yes,
restricting the lockout or something.
yeah,
Like what are you doing? Like what are you doing? Like don't
they
make
just don't want to share any
baseball.
more of the profit. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the problem.
Like yeah,
Um,
you're a dying sport. Come on. Let's yeah.
Nick, we need our own podcast where we can just like start recording and then just talk about whatever. Because like there's been
Exactly.
about 4 times where I've been like, well, we could really go into that, but
Let's table that thought. We don't need to be here for 4 hours, right?
right. Yeah, that's true. So
I know what
one
you're
of
saying.
I do really like to watch soccer. Soccer is one of those things that I enjoy. I'm a Tottenham fan, so how much
Okay.
do I really enjoy it is a good question because they've been kind of tough recently, but
Yeah.
in a good
They got everyone
direction
on
now, I
board.
think.
Yeah, they got everyone on board that broke your hearts.
Yep, that's how it goes.
Hey, we're gonna
Um,
be good. No, we're not.
I think it's so amazing how fickle. teams are with coaches in the American
Oh man,
or in the English Premier League. It's just like have a couple bad games, you're gone.
you're
We don't
out.
care.
We don't
It's
care
just
what you
like
did last season. Yeah,
hot seat is what have you done for me lately, essentially.
it is, man. I
And I
mean,
kind of
listen,
love it.
yeah, they fired. So I think Antonio Conte. I think
Mhm.
for like Chelsea a couple years ago. Was it 12? I forget who was a coach in 2012 when Chelsea. No, it was like a former player. Like they hired a former player and then he took him to the Champions League final in 2012. I forget his name. And then it was like midway through the next season, you're gone.
Yeah.
It was like you're
They
out.
do
Like
not care.
they don't. They don't. You're right. I'm like, whoa, okay, cool. They
Yeah.
had a plan. Okay, so you're not involved. Peace out. Don't pass go.
So wild, so wild.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do like to watch soccer. What I like to do is kind of catch my breath, I guess,
Mhm.
because it seems like the NFL season literally never stops. Because we're already starting for draft
Oh
stuff. I was
man.
talking to Maddie Lane already about doing planning on doing a mock draft. Might be a little spoiler alert, but kcsn.substack.com if you want to check that out. Subscribe. $50 a year will get you access to everything that you need coming up for this draft season. We might have some announcements coming up soon as well in terms of the Substack. So it'll be exciting. So really I've kind of shifted gears to the off season to the draft, watching some of these players. I enjoy the draft side of things. The roster construction, everything
Mhm.
is really enjoyable to me. So really the NFL doesn't stop and neither do I, essentially.
Yeah, yeah. You said take a breather, but like you're like you could take a breather in mini camps, right? I think
Yes.
that's what you
Yeah.
could take after the draft. But then you're analyzing that. See, I like after the draft because there's about a billion players to look at in the draft, and I'm like, I can't sift through and fall in love, watch film, all these people. I like to see who they draft, then watch the film after
Mm,
they draft them, like for the
mhm.
Chiefs. And
Yeah.
kudos to NFL, I mean, Jesus Christ, they monetize the draft like none other. It is unreal.
The NFL is the only draft that is really like an event, right? If
Yeah.
you think about any other sport, MLB draft is like you have seven of those. Oh well, you think about the NBA, they're trying to make it more of an event, and I know that they do it like in New York and
Mhm.
then move it all over places, but they're trying to make it more of a thing. They only have two rounds. I mean, it's one of those things. NHL, their draft isn't that big of an event, but the NFL has done a very good job of monetizing the drafts, which will be in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
So that'll be good. I don't know if you remember this, Nick. Quickly before we get out of here, I know I said we were going to keep it to a tight 30, but that did not happen. That's laughable at this point.
In your
But did you
face.
see? Did you see the original plan of them doing the draft at the Bellagio, right at the Bellagio fountains, and boating the players out to the draft stage?
No. No.
Yeah, that was like okay. So pre-pandemic, so 2020 is when they're supposed to do the draft in Vegas, and they ended up moving it. Obviously, everyone knows what happened then.
That was
But
the best draft ever, by the way. That was the best draft. That will be the best draft ever.
yeah,
Like the memes and the tweets from all that. That was the only time I've ever watched a draft. Obviously, I
dude,
was confined to quarantine, right? So it's literally forced to.
Bill Belichick had his dog sitting at his chair.
He looked like one of my dad's friend's house, like one of my friend's
Yes.
dad's house, like I'm like, oh, Dash, be quiet. My dad's in there working. They're like, what'd your dad do? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, he's just drafting NFL players is what he's doing.
Exactly. Right.
But no, it was so that was the original plan. I think they scrapped it because like I think that idea was like I think I came up with that idea, and it'd be like oh I guess that's fine. But I think wouldn't that be so sick if they're boating
So
players out to the
so cool. Be
yeah
classic Vegas. Or like every
yes
team gets a draft from like a hotel, whatever, like the gets come in on the Ferris wheel or comes in on the like
yep
on the drop thing or the,
yep
the, the coaster. Yeah, that or the white tiger exhibit.
mm-hmm.
Like get to pet a tiger before you go out there. It'd be amazing. It'd be amazing. But hey, but guess what? NFL still can't get the Pro Bowl right. They
You're right,
can't. We need like 20 different podcasts.
we do. All right, Nick, it was a
For
pleasure
sure.
talking to you for
That was
these
fun.
45 minutes. Hopefully BJ is okay with us posting this podcast. You'll already know, I guess, by the time you're listening to it, if he was okay with it. So, Nick, appreciate you joining me on today's Outside the Trenches. Hey, remember, go check out that a la carte sale for Jack Stack Barbecue. You can save it to 40% using the promo code StockUp22. You get sale prices and free shipping for anything over $115. So make sure you go check that out. We'll be back next week, hopefully in full force with BJ Kissel, as we head on into draft season and full force into off season. The combine is probably the next big event coming up. That'll be March 1st. So really right around the corner. So for Nick Leckey, I'm Tucker Franklin. Thank you guys for tuning in. Go Chiefs.